Confrontations between pro-Iran government fans and protesters broke out at the country's second World Cup match in Qatar on Friday. Some protesting fans had flags taken away from them while others were shouted at and harassed. Stadium security officials also confiscated T-shirts and other items displaying anti-government sentiments. Protests have been sweeping Iran since the death of 22-year-old Mahsa Amini in September. Ms. Amini was arrested in Tehran by the morality police for allegedly not covering her hair properly and died in police custody 3 days later. The demonstrations spread across the country with people demanding changes such as more freedoms or an overthrow of the state, and the government has responded with a deadly crackdown. On Friday, at Iran's World Cup game against Wales, some protesters had Persian pre-revolutionary flags snatched from them by pro-government fans at the Ahmed bin Ali Stadium. Insults were also hurled at people wearing T-shirts emblazoned with the words "woman," "life," "freedom," a phrase that has become a rallying cry among protesters against Iran's authorities. One Iranian spectator alleged that Qatari police ordered her to wash off the names of protesters killed by Iran's security forces from her arms and chest after pro-government fans complained. Another woman said was prevented from wearing a T-shirt with Ms. Amini's face in the stadium. Women giving interviews to foreign press about the protests were also seen being harried by at least one group of men. Some used their mobiles to film the women who were also subjected to verbal attacks and the men loudly chanting, "The Islamic Republic of Iran." The match itself, which Iran went on to win 2-0 against Wales, saw Iranian players booed and whistled at as they sang the country's national anthem before kickoff. The decision was a departure from their decision to remain silent before their World Cup opener with England. Some fans watching the game wore hats with the name of Voria Ghafouri written on them. An outspoken former Iranian football player, he was arrested in Iran just the day before Friday's fixture. A critic of Iran's government, he was reportedly taken away by authorities after being accused of spreading propaganda. Capped 28 times for his country, Mr. Ghafouri was part of Iran's World Cup team at the 2018 World Cup, and the star's absence from the 2022 squad surprised many. The Iranian Kurdish player has been a high-profile voice defending Iranian Kurds within the country. Earlier this week, the UN Human Rights Council voted to set up a fact-finding mission to investigate the crackdown on the anti-government protests in Iran. The UN said Iran was in a full-fledged crisis and more than 300 people had been killed and 14,000 others arrested over the past 9 weeks.